We gave everybody a few extra minutes. Thank you for coming to the pre-bid meeting for the street maintenance plan. Evidently, I'm being recorded, so you guys can all hold my feet to the flame for anything I say here. Real quick introductions. My name is Joshua Mara. I'm with the Public Works Department, City of Helotes. Here is Tom Schoolcraft, our mayor, Rick Schroeder, our city administrator, and Susan Darst, our assistant to the city administrator. So all the important people are back there, and all of us working folk are up here. Real quick, we'll go through just what we got listed in the bid documents, and then once we go through a quick overview, I'll open up to any questions. First thing we're going to cover is the one-course surface treatment. We're looking at a total of about 828,000 square feet. Those are all square foot numbers there. They should be fairly close. I wouldn't say they're going to be exact, but you can feel free to go out and measure the streets if you need to. Each one of these streets, excluding Antonio Drive, will be treated with an onyx mastic surface treatment. We have the spec and the bid document there. If you got any questions on that at the end, let me know. This is the crack routing and crack sealing bid. Here we do not have any quantities for linear feet. We do not know how many linear feet of cracks we have on the road. Typically in years past we've bid that out by pound, so what it costs per pound to apply that product there. And those streets, Gom, Braun, and Shanefield, are all very similar, 5-lane roads, asphalt surfaces. So if you got any questions, or if you had a chance to drive those, the cracking's not very severe, but there is some out there. One of the items that we're specing here, there's the Antonio Drive. We'll be putting a fresh one course on that, but Antonio Drive and then the neighborhood known as Hunter's Ridge, those are the list of streets. We'll be putting a HA5 on that. And once again, those quantities should be fairly close, but they might need a little bit of adjustment. And then the mill and overlay, there's a section of road between F and 1560 and Antonio Drive, Iron Horse Way, that we'll be milling out and coming in. This is something that once we get out there and start doing the milling, we'll figure out the exact depths. We're fairly confident there's plenty of base there, but we'll see once we get out there. Some of the road is older and we haven't actually cut into it in a while. But we shouldn't have to worry about any base issues. It should just be take off the asphalt that's there and come back with some new stuff. And that's the last one. On there, there's some additive alternates in the bid documents. Those were not in the presentation. Those are things that we may or may not include once we get the pricing back. If we have the funding for it, we'll go with it. If we don't, we'll see what we're going to do next year. Any questions?
Go over the Gray Forest, please.
Real quick, we have Jay Shipley here. He's with the City of Gray Forest. One of the additive alternates in there is a one course for scenic loop inside Gray Forest jurisdiction and a mastic over the same portion. So we're just basically facilitating the bid document. Any price and bid will be between the contractor and the City of Gray Forest. So we were just trying to make it easier. So when you guys mobilize to come out here to do City of Helotes, we can take care of the stuff there at Gray Forest at the same time and just work them into the schedule. They're very flexible, and we'll work with whatever you guys need to do when y'all are doing the work out there. And if you got any questions about Gray Forest project, Jay's here, and he'll be able to answer those for you.
And also Mayor Phil Howard is here.
I'm sorry.
Right next to him.
Oh. And the mayor of Gray Forest here. Sorry.
Shipley's crew.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. Any questions? And do they need to ask questions in the mic?
Josh? Yes. Be sure and point out the alternate for the microsurfacing on Hunter's Ridge in lieu of the HA5.
So, yeah, we do have the microsurfacing as an alternate for Hunter's Ridge. And the reason we have that in there is we're just trying to we're just trying to make sure we're making the best decision possible when we go and treat those streets in that neighborhood. So microsurfacing is something we looked at for probably about 2 years now. We've been talking to you guys about it. So we finally got it on the bid document. It's the first time we've actually looked at it officially as a city, and that's why we got it as an alternate.
Application rate in mind for that? You got Texas item 250 spec, but you have application rate, I didn't see one in the plans. Application rate for the micro in Hunter's Ridge area. You've got item 350 is Texas spec on it, but there's no application rate in that spec. It's a on-site project specific.
So we will be doing that on-site project specific also. And if you guys are the wind up doing it, we're gonna lean on the contractor's application rate and experience, since we have not done that process here in the past.
I would look at that. So does this project have to be bid as a total project or as a micro contract? Can we just submit the price for the micro aspect of it?
So you're asking if you can bid only one facet of the bid packet. That is absolutely correct. You can bid on all of it. You can just bid on one item, whatever you guys want to do.
Susan, we have a sign-in sheet for everybody.
One question on the mill and overlays. You made a statement on, we're not sure on the depth, whether it's, it's expected 4 inches, being 2 or 4, being a pretty, I guess we're all going to bid apples to apples on a 4-inch, but we may end up coming off of that later, and being that it's going by the square foot, so that really won't affect us in our bid. So I think I answered my question just talking to you. My other one's going to be my quantity on the bid document versus the total that was on the presentation. I'm about 150,000 square feet shorter, and I didn't know where I'm missing that out on bid doc versus what was on the presentation slide.
That's going to be the city of Gray Forest.
Is that where I'm missing that?
Yeah, the city of Gray Forest is about 150,000, correct me if I'm, 150,000 square feet within their corporate city limits. And so that's going to be the portion that's not included in this presentation.
Great.
But it does need to be bid
As
a part of a bid process.
Understood, absolutely. I'm going to hold the mic for a minute. Rock application rate on the grade 5 trap, you'll have a city preference on that. I didn't see it in as far as, 1 to 130, 50, or is it?
I don't remember what I'll have to get back to you on the rock application.
Okay.
I know that we're looking at 0.35 for the tall
Mhm.
one, but I forgot to look and double check on the rock.
Okay, and then last question is going to be as far as just the right-of-way prep, minor brush and wire trimming on the alt bid over off of Bandera, the far.
Mountain View and Orange Tower.
Mountain View and Orange Tower, that stuff that bleeds out into the road there, is that on the contractor or the city push that stuff back, or just leave it and go around it?
No, that's what, we will go ahead and prep that
Prep that.
before you come out.
And any other things as we come along? Great, thank you.
Josh, can you go over the minor prepping that y'all are going to do in-house before?
Right, so in the bid package, you see that we got 500 tons of level up road in there. That is an estimate based upon what we've been using as level up in years past. Also, before any of you guys mobilize out here, we will send our crews out there to do minor level up, edge of road repairs. We've actually already done most of that. And if there's like brush and stuff you're talking about, we'll have all that stuff out of the way before you guys get here.
As you mentioned, we've been talking micro for a couple of years now. This project's letting relatively early in the season, but relatively late in the season for our scaling purposes. What is your absolute drop deadline for completion of this if we go with a micro application?
We don't have any drop dead deadlines really. Once we select contractors, we'll then see what the contractor's schedule allows for, and then base our schedule on that. We're not trying to dictate when these jobs get done. Obviously, we don't want to be working on this bid packet still year and a half, 2 years from now, but we understand that you guys have scheduling issues.
Well, in the bid documents, it states, once you receive a notice to proceed, we're hoping to have the work done, I would say within, I forget what time period.
I think we put in there 3 months
That's what I'm thinking.
for most of it. But again, those are
All
the things.
flexible.
Those are the things that once we select a contractor, we can negotiate those portions of the contract if it has to be altered. No, we're not like other cities out there. We're not gonna, we understand that things come up. We're also not gonna do the fine or whatever it is per day, liquidated damages, thank you, as a part of this project, unless it's out, you know, it gets ridiculous. Let's put it-
It's a little scattered as far as the streets in one aspect, but you would be working in one subdivision like Park Estates, and then Hunter's Ridge, Antonio, and Marion Hollow. So we would just look at trying to stay in those areas until they're complete before moving to another one, unless you have multiple crews.
And if you're talking about just microsurfing, remember, it's just one neighborhood, so.
Anything else? Anything for Gray Forest? You're awfully quiet over there. All right. Did we cover everything you'd like to cover?
The square footage, as it says in the bid documents, everything will be based on job measured quantities once it's complete. These are just estimated quantities. I just want to be clear on that.
There's a few streets that, in our system, we have them as 22 feet wide, and then there's a spot where they're 21 or maybe 24. So that's, and then there may be a cul-de-sac on the end or something that we didn't quite get measured right, but
And
that's
the-
pretty much what the variables are gonna be.
The other thing, I'd like to point out that we did last year on the 500 tons of level up, as Josh said, we'll be doing some work in-house, cutting out some alligator and some other stuff, doing what we can with the limited resources we have. But what we'd appreciate from each bidder is, and if, I'm assuming y'all are going around and looking at the streets, what we're trying to do is increase the rideability quality. So if you run across washboarding, some dips, some humps, those are the kinds of things that we want to include in the level up, as well as the edge, street edge, before we do any application of the aggregate and emulsion. We want to even up any drop-offs and stuff like that. So that'll all be included in the 500 tons. And that again is an estimate based upon the total area of the streets.
The streets listed on the micro alternate didn't include Hunter Path, but it's supposed to be safe area, right?
Yes, we'll be doing the entire neighborhood.
Say that again. Did you print out the bid document?
I have them digitally.
Can you show me what you're referring to so I can modify it if I need to?
Yeah, I thought we had every street in there.
The only other thing that I want to mention is the traffic control and the barricading. That is very important to the city of Helotes, and I assume to the city of Great Forest as well. In prior years, we've had contractors that did a very poor job at traffic control, and we've had contractors that did what I would consider a better job at traffic control, but still not something that we consider to be of good quality. And so I want to make sure that when y'all bid this, you know, have in your mind the fact that we are going to be tough on traffic control, making sure that there's always one lane open, making sure you have flaggers on both sides, not just allowing traffic to go haywire as we've had in some instances. So please keep that in mind when you're bidding this project, because we're going to be much more stringent than we have in the past on the barricading side of things, or on the traffic control.
We also want to be sure that since most of this is residential, that prior to the work commencing, we'd prefer at least a week's notification by signage to the residents that work is going to start in their area and to be prepared for delays and inconveniences. And
Rather than redo it, I'm just gonna put it online.
don't put a date and then be 3 weeks late. So we need to be very clear on at least that minimum of a week's notice. This is what's going to happen, this is how long it's going to take, however you can on signage before you go into each subdivision, especially on the HA5 or microservicing in Hunter's Ridge, because we don't want to inconvenience those folks any more than we have to.
Then on the HA5 side, you did get the Antonio Drive. Yes, sir. So, okay.
Anyway, we appreciate y'all coming out. You got anything else?
Nope, I'm good if y'all are good. Y'all have any questions for the contractors?
Don't hesitate to shoot us questions, and Rick and Josh will put those up on the website and with the answers.
And all of this will be, the video will be posted on the website too, in case somebody back at the office needs to see it, so.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, we're videotaping, but we can just see the back of your head, so it's fine.
Yeah, I'm the fool that's gonna be pacing up on the, okay.
Okay, and just a reminder, all these are due at all of the bids, June 28th, 3 p.m. You'll turn those bids in over here at Development Services to Ernest or Belinda. And we will open them up here at the same room at 3:15 and go through those bid tabulations.
And good luck. We'll look forward to working with whoever's the successful bidder and finish these streets up, so we appreciate you being here.